Hey Eagle fans, this video is brought to you guys by Panda Subs. Go to pandasubs.com, use the promo code CHAT, you'll get 30% off your order plus free shipping. Again, pandasubs.com, promo code is CHAT, you get 30% off your entire order plus free shipping. So today I thought we'd go ahead and talk about not only the Marquise Goodwin opting out for the entire 2020 season, but some options to replace him at wide receiver, because a lot of Eagle fans are texting me or they're DMing me on Twitter and asking, hey, what do we do about the wide receiver position? I thought I'd break it down for you guys here today. So first off, in case you don't know, in case you didn't see yesterday's video, Marquise Goodwin, the wide receiver who the Eagles traded for during the third day of the 2020 NFL Draft, has officially opted out, one of the many NFL players opting out due to concerns about the coronavirus. He cited his 5-month-old daughter, and the fact that him and his wife have been trying and had 3 miscarriages trying to have their first child, and so he's going to step up and spend more time with his family than football in 2020. So the question then becomes, what does Philadelphia do to make up for the loss of Marquise Goodwin? First off, let's just say this. Everyone's acting like the Eagles just lost their best receiver. They didn't. Marquise Goodwin did nothing for the 49ers last season and has been a shell of himself since he came into the National Football League. This is not like the Eagles lost to Sean Jackson. They didn't lose Alshon Jeffrey. They didn't lose Jalen Reagor, right? There are a lot of other options for Philadelphia to look inward. So despite the fact that I and you were probably very excited about Marquise Goodwin due to his speed, it's not like they are losing a number 1 top-tier wide receiver, because stats show he has done basically nothing for the teams he has played for in the past couple of years. I think, honestly, as you look at the Eagles depth chart, they're going to look internally to solve this issue, and that's where we will start before obviously going to the free agent options as well. But I'll ask you guys this. Do the Eagles need to sign another wide receiver? Did you see the Marquise Goodwin news and go, oh my gosh, they've got to go out and get somebody? If yes, type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. So as I said before, I think they're going to go ahead and step up in terms of internal options, because they have a ton of internal guys that they can get. J.J. Whiteside, Greg Ward, they drafted Jalen Reagor, John Hightower, maybe even Quez Watkins. There are options who can just move into that spot, prove it in training camp, and become the fill-in wide receiver that the Eagles would be looking for. One sleeper option that I think really could be stepping up in 2020 is J.J. Whiteside. Now, again, any of the young wide receivers could be this guy, but Whiteside, towards the end of the 2019 season, had little flashes of being a good possession receiver. Now, that's different than Marquise Goodwin's speed, but still, any receiver stepping up would be big for Philadelphia. And even though Whiteside only had 10 catches in 2019, I think still could take a next step and be kind of a fill-in guy for Marquise Goodwin. But again, the big thing here that I want to get across, and the main point to start this video and this show today, is that it's not like the Eagles have lost their number 1 wide receiver. It's someone we were excited about, but it's not somebody that was going to be a guaranteed game changer. It was a low-risk, high-reward bet to trade for him. He didn't cost a lot of money, and him opting out is not the end of the world. That is important to note before I give you guys the free agent wide receiver targets. Now, before I do that, name a wide receiver you guys want the Eagles to sign. Give me one down below in the comment section, and we'll see if it is one of the ones that I'm going to list for you guys here right now. All right, so the first player on my list who is a free agent wide receiver, to me, it's my favorite, the one I think the Eagles should go out and sign if they were to go out and get somebody. It's Demaryius Thomas. Now, you probably recognize the name, Demaryius Thomas, as the once 1,000-yard superstar wide receiver with Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. The problem is he's no longer at that level. He's 32 years old and has spent the last couple of years with very bad quarterbacks and not good football teams. Played 11 games for the Jets in 2019, but if you bring him in, you're not getting the speed, but you're getting the veteran leadership that Marquise Goodwin honestly didn't even bring to the Eagles in the first place. This is my favorite receiver overall in terms of free agent options. He'd be cheap. He's a veteran presence, and honestly, with Carson Wentz, I think he could play very, very well. If you look at the past 4 seasons for Demaryius Thomas, they all have a very similar trend. One, he still is productive, right? I mean, 433 yards and a touchdown isn't fantastic, but I'll go back 2 years to 2018, and he had 59 catches for 677 yards and 5 touchdowns. That would have led all Eagle receivers in 2019 in yards and touchdowns, and yet the Eagles are still looking for somebody to fill in that gap. Now, a little bit later on, 2017, 2016, those were his more glory years, but I think you got to focus on the fact that he did not have a good quarterback the last 2 seasons. He had Sam Darnold, a rookie, and then a second-year guy who is trying to find his footing in the National Football League, throwing him the football. And Darnold, even last year, barely had a 60% completion percentage, barely threw for 3,000 yards, and only had 19 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. I think Demaryius Thomas could take the 2019 numbers and make them, a little bit more closer to the 2018 60 catches and 600-yard numbers with a good quarterback. And guess what? The Eagles have a very good quarterback and Carson Wentz. So, Don't let the age fool you. Don't let the numbers fool you. I think Demaryius Thomas makes the most sense out of all the free agent wide receivers because with a good quarterback in Carson Wentz, he could produce at a level we have not seen in a couple of years for a guy of his caliber. So, like this video if you guys want Demaryius Thomas to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Again, I think they don't go out and sign anybody, but if they were, there aren't a lot of options, but the number one guy that I would pick right now is Demaryius Thomas. Before we keep going to the other guys on this list, this video, of course, is sponsored by Panda Subs, brought to you by Panda Subs. Go to pandasubs.com and use the promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, for 30% off plus free shipping on all of their products, including the pre-workouts and the BCAA supplements. So, of course, the pre-workouts, right, the benefit there is you have a long day at work at your normal job, you go to the gym in the evening, or vice versa, in the morning before work, you're probably tired, you're drained a little bit. So, get a little scoop of pre-workout, shake it up in your blender bottle, and of course, you take it to the gym with you. Great performance, less fatigue, more focus, give you a better overall workout. And then obviously the recovery and intra-workout benefits of BCAAs. You drink those either during your workout or after. Can, of course, prevent muscle soreness and increase muscle growth at the same time. All of their subs, again, you can find them at pandasubs.com. Promo code is CHAT. You get 30% off your first order plus free shipping. Okay, so again, let me just say this. Free agent wide receivers, not a lot of great ones to go out and get, but another one on my list right now that you could get if you were Philadelphia is the the short and speedy, quick wide receiver in Taylor Gabriel. So, 29 years old. A younger option, of course, than Demaryius Thomas, but he is coming off of a very down year in Chicago to the point where you look at the numbers and you go, with a missed 7 games in terms of injuries in 2019, would he be good to go and productive in Philadelphia? The answer is most likely yes, again, because Carson Wentz is the quarterback and not Mitch Trubisky. But the numbers here for Gabriel are nothing special. 29 catches in 2019, 353 yards and 4 touchdowns. And really, besides 2018, has not been a very productive receiver. No more than 35 catches in 3 of his last 4 seasons. But as we talked about with Sam Darnold, Mitch Trubisky's throwing him the football, right? Carson Wentz better than Sam Darnold. Carson Wentz better than Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky had even worse numbers, in my opinion, than Sam Darnold did last year. Less touchdowns, less interceptions, more yards, but still not a number one true top-tier quarterback like Carson Wentz is. So again, the thought process is you bring Taylor Gabriel in, you put him with Carson Wentz, and he's going to be a lot more productive than he was with a lesser quarterback like Mitch Trubisky. Side note, I have met Taylor Gabriel. I met him at a Baylor Pro Day a couple of years ago. A lot smaller than he looks on TV. He's shorter than I am, and I am not a tall or big guy. So he's one of those, working between the numbers and try and catch the football and run after the catch. So he's another option for Philadelphia. Before we go ahead and give you the final player on my list here, which is very similar to Taylor Gabriel, be sure to subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles Now. Big thanks to everyone. We just hit 12,000 subs here on the Best Eagles channel on YouTube. As of course, we have nonstop coverage regarding the Eagles all throughout training camp leading up to the start of the NFL season. So thank you for 12K. Let's keep going to 13,000 as well. Final guy on this list, it's Tavon Austin. Now, we're going from 1 down to 3, right? So I would much rather have Demaryius Thomas. If you can't have him, Taylor Gabriel. Can't have him, then Tavon Austin. Austin's a guy who came into the National Football League with the Rams as a first-round draft pick. Supposed to be a true number 1 deep threat explosive wide receiver, much like Marquise Goodwin was supposed to be, and much like Marquise Goodwin, Tavon Austin has never really turned out to be that type of player. 30 years old, so 1 year older than Taylor Gabriel, and has had back-to-back bad years with Dallas, which is the exact reason why no one has signed him up to this point. He does have the speed, though, and so while Demaryius Thomas is slower, more of a possession receiver, you could get a guy like Tavon Austin to be a Marquise Goodwin mold-type player to fill the gap in the speed and be an overhead threat. With Dallas, though, the numbers aren't good. 13 catches with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in 2019, 8 catches in 2018. I mean, this guy has done absolutely nothing, and yet, still, with how little free agent wide receivers there are in the market right now, could still be an option for the Eagles. Now, okay, we'll have you guys pick which one you want. Out of the 3, Demaryius Thomas, Taylor Gabriel, or Tavon Austin. Obviously, T, G, and A will be your options to type down below in the comment section to tell me who you guys would want from this list. I would take Demaryius Thomas, so I would type T, but if you want to take somebody else, then tell me who it is down below in the comment section. Final quick thought here. I know what you're thinking, Thomas. What about Antonio Brown, Martavius Bryant, Josh Gordan, and Des Bryant? Like, the Eagles should sign Des Bryant right now. Oh my goodness, go get Antonio Brown. Stop. The Eagles are not going to look at or sign any 4 of these wide receivers. I'll tell you that right now. Antonio Brown, we said this before. The day you sign him, he has a 3-term investigation by the NFL. They will not let him play for majority of the league. He would be suspended. Martavius Bryant the same way. Josh Gordan, can he even stay off of the weed, as Stephen A. Smith says, long enough to play for a full season? Couldn't do it with the Seahawks or the Patriots last year. And finally, Des Bryant the most likely out of this list, but even then, a mega distraction when you bring him onto the Philadelphia Eagles. Probably doesn't even want to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. All 4 of these guys do not make my list. I would not sign them if I was Philadelphia, and I don't expect Philadelphia to sign them because, again, all the off-the-field issues are something Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman, and the Eagles are not interested in signing at this moment. So, there you go. Wanted to get that out of the way, but there are 3 very realistic free agent options that Philadelphia could sign right now if they need to, which we'll see if they want to. They might just look internally, maybe J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, maybe John Hightower. Someone needs to step up. That's my prediction here for the loss of Marquise Goodwin. All time we have for today, though, on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Mailbag video coming out later this week, so of course, stay tuned for that. I appreciate all 12,000 and more subscribers that we have here on the channel. For Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.